Hey guys, welcome to week 10 of Respect Your Elders, and wouldn't you know it, we are missing the third elder. At this point, it's
We
just...
are putting open a job listing. We're
Yeah.
taking offers. We'll hold the interview process next week. If you want to be the new third host of Respect Your Elders, please submit an application. The link will be in the description.
Yes. It's a weird week. Top 5 teams didn't move in the rankings. Nobody moved. Everybody got comfy. Bottom 7 teams, 5 of them moved. So
Great
a lot
stuff.
of movement in the bottom half trying to get to those last couple spots in the playoffs.
All right, so we're going to hop into the top performances of the week. We're going to start it off with the name we probably never said in this column before, Drew Lock. He had 313 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 47 yards rushing, and a rushing touchdown for a grand total of 36 points. It is his first career 300-yard passing game, and they still lost to the Falcons, which is kind of sucked for him, but at least he had a good fantasy day.
Yeah, I mean, of all opponents, you'd think the Falcons would be the easiest one to sneak a win out of, but
You would think.
yeah, the Broncos are going to find a way. They're better at throwing games away than the Falcons, and that's what they
Yeah.
proved this week.
And then a familiar face on this list, it seems, Dalvin Cook with another monster game, 206 rushing yards, 46 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns, 43 points. This is now back-to-back weeks where he goes over 40 points. Just absolutely carrying fantasy teams.
Yeah, he has been insane. It's seeming like the only downside to him is injury. If he's not injured, he'll score half of your team's points, and
Exactly.
that's all you need.
Yeah. He is insane.
Yeah. Coming up next, we got Richie James. He is a receiver for, I believe, the 49ers. 49ers, I don't think you could name any players on their starting offense right now. They are having some bad luck. But Richie James able to come in 9 catches, 184 yards, and a touchdown, giving him 30 points, and that included his first catch of the season. I mean, nobody's ever heard of him. We probably haven't heard of anybody else that's catching passes on the 49ers, but Richie James really showed up and showed out for probably nobody in the fantasy league.
Yeah, I mean, I've never heard of this guy. Like you said, first catches of the season. But, I mean, what a way to put yourself on the roadmap, just dropping a monster 184 yards. That's crazy.
Then next up, we have Josh Allen. 415 yards, 3 passing touchdowns, and a rushing touchdown to top it off. 49 points on the week. He is just out there. I guarantee you the only thing he's thinking about every single snap is Jalen Ramsey's face, and he is just laughing to himself every game. I mean,
man.
he is just showing out. He is the top guy this year. It's who you want on your team.
Yeah, I mean, he's just out there absolutely slinging the rock. He started off the first 5 or 6 weeks just doing incredible points. He had a bit of a lull in the middle, and then now he's just been back to throwing up ridiculous numbers. I think everyone kind of doubted him coming out of college. I mean, he's a college quarterback out of Wyoming. Like, what? Yeah. Okay. But the Bills, I mean, clearly they saw something, and it's paying off so far. Now we're going to shift gears. We're going to go to the Dookie performances. We're going to start off with one that I hate to admit, but DJ Moore, only 2 catches, 18 yards, under 3 points. Rough day in the office. Teddy Bridgewater over almost 50 passing attempts, but only targeted DJ 3 times. So I don't know what's going on there, but that's not what you want to see.
It's a strange stat to pull out that he threw the ball that many times and just straight up ignored the number 1 receiver on the team.
Yeah, I have no answers.
Yeah.
And then another surprising name, DeAndre Hopkins. He had 3 catches for 30 yards for a measly 4.5 points. This is a guy that just catches everything, gets a ton of yards, always is usually a top 5 receiver. So it's very shocking to see him on this list.
Yeah, it is really weird. But it's very obvious that he is an essential part of that offense as the Cardinals lost to the Miami Dolphins. So it did not work out for them to not use him very much.
Nope.
And then next up on Dookie Performers, we have Melvin Gordon. And I mean, we said earlier, Drew Lock had a career day, 300-yard passing game. So obviously, weren't really looking at Melvin Gordon in the backfield. And at the same time, Melvin Gordon probably saw that I was playing Jacob this week, and he's like, he's got it. He doesn't really need that much help for measly old Jacob.
Yeah.
Then we got the superstar, greatest of all time, Tom Brady on the Dookie side of things. He only had 209 yards, 3 interceptions, giving you 1.45 points. And that is the exact opposite of what everyone thought adding Antonio Brown would do to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about a quarterback that has an embarrassment of riches at weapons with Antonio Brown, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Rob Gronkowski. That seems like as much of a stacked offense as you could get, but not this week.
All right, what are we waiting on?
You.
Whatever. Let's go. Where are we at?
Well,
we also put in we're going to put an application in to replace you in the description of this video.
Mm-hmm.
Last week's matchups. We'll start with Kevin versus Colt. 94-92, Kevin. Barely edged it out. And
yeah, I do enjoy edging.
That's entertaining. Colt is now back to losing, so he's very, 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 very bad, I'm assuming. I don't know, I haven't looked, but I'm assuming he's about there. Yep. That many varies.
Yeah, so. He didn't take one off last week after winning. Wasn't it last week that he won?
Yep.
And his team repaid him by once again losing.
Yep. And honestly, he can thank Ronald Jones and the Bucks for doing absolutely nothing. Yep. He had Ronald Jones the Sunday night game. I was done. I was only up by I think 7 points, probably less than that actually. And yeah, I mean, the Bucks as a team had 5 carries for 8 yards, so clearly the running backs were not very involved.
Nope.
And as we mentioned earlier, Tom Brady had an awful game.
Yeah, he sucked.
All right. Well, the next matchup was Coop versus Aaron. Coop gets this win actually over Aaron, 125-120. So I mean, Coop decided to show up when he needed to. So good job, Coop.
Yeah,
good job.
I'm sure.
And man, it must be nice having CMC back. Right?
Yeah, I bet.
He injured his shoulder again. He's out now. So
yeah.
Let me stop shaking my camera. But yeah, he's gone.
Yeah, and man, Aaron really doesn't appreciate Coop all of a sudden able to find points again. He scores 120, beats the median, and Aaron, these past 3 weeks, is actually number 2 on average points. He's averaging 128 points, and Coop's number 6 the past 3 weeks, and he was able to pull it out. So Aaron's not happy about that one.
I mean, we've talked about it. I feel like weekly at this point. Coop has the luckiest team in the league this year. Like, it doesn't make sense how he's winning, but he keeps winning. So, and we've said it every time. Luck is the best aspect of fantasy football. If you've got the luck, you just keep riding it because that'll take you where you need to be.
Yep, exactly.
And then moving on to the next matchup, it's actually an Elders matchup. We built it up pretty good last week, and it was a pretty good game. We're talking about Bo versus Jacob. And I know what you're thinking. Jacob won in a blowout. Wrong. It was Bo, who is the best top scorer these past 3 weeks on average. He dropped 126 to Jacob's 116. Bo gets the win, gets the 2-0. Jacob stays in first place, but he lost to Bo, so he has to wear that badge of shame for the rest of the season.
I'm just trying to get a tax break at the end of the year, give some charity a little bit. Let the needy get a win every now and then. So.
Right. Yeah, I just want to point out, like Kevin said, past 3 weeks, I'm the number 1 scorer. I don't know if you guys remember, but 3 weeks ago, I was the last place team, and I said, I got here on purpose. I wanted to see what the bottom was like. Now I'm headed to the top. And number 1 team, past 3 weeks, I took out the number 1 ranked team. I don't know how hard it is to get this through to everyone, but I was just testing something earlier.
Yeah, you were just goofing, and now you're taking it serious.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Then we're going to move on to our next matchup, which was Mir versus Chris. The catastrophe is continuing. I think we've all been wishing it would stop for Chris's sake, but it's still going strong. Mir, in case you guys weren't aware, he is the number 12 ranked team. He is the bottom, but he had the top score this week. So he was like, I may be at the bottom, but hey, don't forget about me. I'm still pretty good.
Yeah.
Throws up a top score just to remind everybody. Yeah, I mean, there's not really much else to say about it.
Yeah, I mean, if there was ever anybody that Miller was going to pull out a W against, it was going to be against the catastrophe, who just... incredible how bad he has been doing.
Yeah, I mean, Chris started the season so well. Everyone's like, yeah, I mean, this is the guy. We had him on the show. Everything looked good. He did I feel like he self-jinxed himself.
Mm-hmm.
And he did a damn good job of the jinx. Goodness.
Yeah.
It's been bad.
It's been real rough. Sorry, Jacob, are we interrupting something?
No.
Like we said earlier in the show, there will be an application in the description of this video.
Yes.
We are looking for a third co-host.
Yeah,
I think our professional relationship with Jacob needs to come to an end.
Yeah, and I mean, as you can see, don't feel nervous or anything about it. You could just watch this episode and see that the bar for the third host is set very low. So everybody put in your applications, please.
Mm-hmm.
In the next matchup, Jenny versus Alex. Jenny was able to pull that one out 111 to 99 and also beating the median. So we mentioned last week the way that I turned the game that my season just took a different direction was against Alex, and now Jenny 2-0 against Alex. She might be coming up, passing the rest of the bottom of the rankings. She did move up 2 spots this past week. It does also look like Alex may still be running his team. Scoring almost 199 makes it a little more difficult to see. We're not sure if he's catching on to it or if maybe Riley just had a bad week. We're not sure.
Yeah, we'll get some more information and get back to you guys.
Yeah, we've never seen Riley lose, so it's highly doubtful that it's her, but Alex is getting better at covering it up. The last matchup from last week, Ian versus Chase. Ian able to win that 96 to 85. Very low scoring game. We give Coop a lot of a good hard time about being real lucky. But if you look at Ian's team, he has almost 200 less points in the points against column. So he's had a pretty lucky season this whole time. He's just also been scoring decent. Now that he's scoring lower, it's getting more obvious that, he has had a pretty lucky season.
Yeah. All right, and let's take it into this week's matchups. We're going to kick it off with a classic, Obi versus Colt. I guess what we have to decide is this the turning point for Miller? He had the top score this past week. Is this where he's going to build on his team, his season, take him out of that bottom dwelling spot? Like we said, Colt team not looking great the last couple weeks. Maybe he needs to add another very. Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a real barn burner.
Yeah. For anybody that Miller could face to get his team on track, he got to face the catastrophe, who the past 3 weeks, the number 12 dead last team in points. Who's he get to follow it up with? The number 11 team in points for. The very, 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 very bad team. So he's got it lined up to just slowly but surely climb up those rankings.
Yep, if there was ever a time to begin the snowball, these 2 weeks would be the time.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then after that, we've got one of our favorites, Chris versus Chase, a C versus C matchup. We all love it. It keeps happening. It's great. Like we just said, Chris has been the worst team in the league over the past couple weeks. Chase, as we mentioned earlier, sitting a little bit below middle, around the 8th spot. So he's not been off to a great, run either. But if there's a week to get your season turned around, it's facing the catastrophe.
Yeah, it's been proven time and time again that the first couple weeks, the catastrophe really started getting real. He was still squeaking out those wins, and now there's no turning back. It's just full on flames. There's sirens going off, lights flashing. The catastrophe is just an emergency call happening.
Yeah, maybe we need to bring him back onto the show, and maybe they'll just kind of like flip it back around.
That's true. But at the same time, I think that whenever we brought him... Oh, I see what you're saying, because last time we brought him on, it is whenever the catastrophe started getting real. So
yeah.
Well, like we said, there will be an application link in the description. We can just replace Jacob with Chris, and yeah,
that's
take it
true.
from there.
So with these next two, though, we were just talking about them. Luck versus Luck. Ian versus Coop. Getting ready to see who is the luckiest. Probably gonna be like a 12-11 score, but we'll see who is more lucky than the other.
That's very true. Yeah. I mean, on the season for points, Ian is number 2, Coop is number 7, but you just look at these past 3 weeks, and they're Coop number 6, Ian number 7. So they're literally right in the middle of the league, just with all of their luck and their pixie dust just sprinkling all over them right there.
And to put the luck in perspective, like we said, Ian has the lowest points against by a wide margin, and Coop is the only team in the top 5 with a negative point differential. So that means he has lower points for than points against. So something's got to give. It'll be a good one to watch. Coop won't have CMC. He's out this week. We'll see if that affects him.
Yeah. We'll see. It's going to be an interesting one. I have a feeling it's going to be weird. It's either going to be like 80 to 78 close, or it's going to be like 190 to 185 type thing. Like, there's no telling. Is it going to be one of the teams gets unlucky because the other one's so lucky, or are they just both going to get so lucky that it's going to be a blowout?
Moving on to the next matchup, 6 versus 9. Nice. So this is Bo versus Jenny. We get to see how this household will withhold with these two grinding it out, going head to head. Will they be able to talk to each other after this week, or will they just be avoiding each other all week? Who knows? We'll see how this matchup ends.
Now, I know exactly. We'll 100% be able to talk to each other after this week, unless I lose. Then we'll have some difficulties. But I'm feeling good about it. I think that the marriage will be fine. If she does something crazy, then we're gonna have to talk. No craziness in this marriage.
Okay.
The next matchup, Kevin versus Alex. This is number 10 versus 11.
You turned your season around with the game against Alex. Jenny's looking like she's turning her season around with the game against Alex. So I think it's only fair that I also turn my season around with a game against Alex. That's what I was really waiting for.
Okay.
We just want to keep the consistent storyline going.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I get this 2-0. Some magic happens, and I'm right there in that 7-8 spot if we can, if things fall the way they should.
Yeah.
And that's what we're shooting.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Jenny was able to jump you this past week playing Alex. Lucky for you, she does play me this week, so you'll get to jump her right back. Won't be an issue. But yeah, the other two that you have to pass is the catastrophe and number 11, very, very, very bad. So it's looking good for your next 4 weeks before the playoffs. And again, can't wait to see you in the championship.
I hope it happens.
Then the last game for the week. It is a big one. It is the number 1 team, even though that number 1 team lost last week in embarrassing fashion, versus number 2, who also lost last week in an embarrassing fashion. They both were able to keep their spots in the rankings somehow, but this could be the week that Aaron finally dethrones Jacob from his pedestal.
You want to make any predictions? Those have worked out pretty good for you on this show.
Yeah, let's do it. Let me look at it for a second. All right, calculations have done. 121 to 102. Me.
I'll make a prediction. I think this game is going to be the median setter.
Ooh,
I think
so
this
like
is going to be I think one of you guys are going 2-0, the other one's going 0-2. I'm sorry,
it's
Jacob,
gonna
you're falling.
It's Maybe that flippy flop right there.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That flippity flop.
That meeting is gonna be right in between y'all.
And if that happens and it works out to where Aaron is the 2-0 and Jacob is the 0-2, that is the scenario Aaron would need for the catapult.
Aaron right now is #1 team in points for, so.
Yeah, and he's been ridiculously consistent pretty much throughout the entire season.
Oh yeah, because the whole season, #1. Past 3 weeks, #2. Only behind me, which that's fair. It's pretty good.
All right, guys. Well, that wraps it up for our show. As you can see, once again, it's just me and Bo. And we weren't kidding earlier. We really do have an application that we are going to be putting out there. We would love to get some of you guys to, shoot us a link. Maybe we can see if we can get something to work.
Yep. Yeah, please. Yeah. We'll post it. The link's going to be in the description. I'll put the link right there. Click on that. Go fill it out. The bar is really, really low. I mean, you've seen our third host. It's easy to meet that bar. It's very easy to exceed that bar. So just fill it out. We'll be in touch, and we can't wait to see who all applies.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good time.
Should be a good time. This is a great show to be on. You don't get paid. This is an unpaid position.
Yeah,
just gonna put that out there right now.
It is no pay. You will get great experience, but the benefits. I'm gonna get to the benefits. We don't have them, but it's fun.
It is fun.
Yeah,
it's a lot of fun.
Yep. So do it.
All right, let's do this. No. Hold on.
There's no way he's actually on his phone right now, right? This has to be fake.
I'll be right back.